I always thought my life was simple. I used to tell myself, if you have love, you have enough. I believed that because I had Aisha. She was my girlfriend, my comfort, my plan. Every morning I texted her first. Every night I fell asleep thinking about her voice. I trusted her the way you trust gravity. I never questioned it. "Wake up, sleepyhead," she said on the phone one morning. I smiled and said, "I was already awake. I was just waiting for your call." "You're lying," she laughed. "You always lie about that." "I only lie to sound cool," I said. She laughed again, and that laugh felt like home. That was my life. Normal. Warm. Safe. Or at least I thought it was. That evening Bilal called me. "Bro, where are you?" he asked. "At home." "Why?" "Come out. Coffee." "My treat." "I'm meeting Aisha later." "Bring her too," he said. "I need to see if she's real or just a myth." I laughed. "She's real. Too real." We decided on a small cafe near the main road. It was crowded, noisy, full of conversations that mixed into one loud sound. I reached first and took a corner table. When Aisha walked in, my eyes followed her without thinking. She wore a simple dress, nothing fancy, but she looked perfect to me. "You're staring," she said, sitting down. "I'm allowed," I said. "You're my girlfriend." She smiled. "Don't get too confident." Bilal arrived a few minutes later and shook my hand. "So this is Aisha," he said. "You exist." "I do," she said, smiling politely. We ordered coffee. We talked about small things. Work, traffic, useless jokes. Everything felt normal. Too normal. Then he walked in. I didn't know his name at that moment. I only noticed how confidently he moved, how his eyes went straight to our table. He stopped beside Aisha and smiled like he belonged there. "Hey baby," he said. The word hit me before I could understand it. Baby. I looked at him. Then I looked at her. My mind waited for her to correct him. To laugh awkwardly. To say, "Hey, don't call me that." She didn't. She smiled. Not a nervous smile. Not a confused one. A warm smile. My chest tightened. My ears started ringing. I felt like everyone in the cafe was staring at me even though no one cared. Bilal shifted in his seat. "Who's this?" he asked, his voice sharp. The guy looked at me and nodded. "Ryan," he said. "I'm a friend." "A friend?" I repeated, forcing a laugh. "Right." Aisha looked at me. "Ryan, this is my boyfriend." Boyfriend. The word felt smaller than it should have. "Oh," he said, smiling wider. "Nice to meet you, man." I shook his hand. Felt firm. Confident. Like he wasn't worried at all. "You guys were here already?" he said to Aisha. "I didn't know." "It's okay," she said. "We were just talking." Just talking. My mind replayed the smile. The word. Baby. Bilal cleared his throat. "You want to join us?" Ryan looked at Aisha before answering. "Only if that's okay." She nodded. "Sure." I wanted to say something. Anything. But my mouth stayed quiet. He pulled a chair and sat next to her. Too close. Their arms almost touched. "So," he said, looking at her, "you didn't reply to my message." "I was busy," she said. "I told you." "You told him." I took a sip of my coffee. It tasted bitter. "Work?" Ryan asked. "Something like that," she replied. Bilal kicked my leg under the table. I ignored it. Ryan laughed. "You always say that." "Always." I smiled and said, "You two seem close." She looked at me quickly. "We're just friends." "Yeah," Ryan said. "Just friends." The way he said it made my stomach twist. After a few minutes he stood up. "I'll let you guys enjoy. I'll see you later, baby." There it was again. Baby. She smiled again. "Bye." I watched him walk away. My hands were shaking. Bilal leaned forward. "What the hell was that?" I laughed loudly. Too loudly. "Relax, man. It's just a nickname." Bilal stared at me. "You okay?" "Of course," I said. "Why wouldn't I be?" Aisha looked uncomfortable. "Can we not make a big deal out of this?" "I'm not," I said quickly. "No big deal." But inside something cracked. After Bilal left, we walked outside. The night air felt heavy. I finally asked, "Why did he call you that?" She sighed. "You're really asking this?" "Yes," I said. "I am." "You're being insecure," she said. "It's just a word." "It didn't feel like just a word," I said. She crossed her arms. "So now you're telling me how I should feel?" "I'm telling you how I feel," I said. She shook her head. "I can't believe this. I thought you trusted me." "I do," I said quickly. I just Then act like it, she snapped. I went quiet. She softened her voice. You know I'm with you. Why are you ruining a good night? I looked at her face. The same face I loved. The same eyes. Okay, I said. I'm sorry. She smiled slightly. Thank you. We went our separate ways. When I reached home, I sat on my bed and stared at the wall. I told myself I was overthinking. But my gut wouldn't stop screaming. I picked up my phone and typed, then deleted, then typed again. Did I overreact? I whispered to myself. My phone buzzed. Blah. What happened after I left? He texted. Nothing, I replied. That didn't look like nothing. It's fine, I typed. Trust me. He sent back, I don't. I threw the phone aside and lay down. My mind replayed the cafe again and again. The chair next to her. The smile. The way she didn't stop him. The next day I met Bilal during lunch. You look like crap, he said. Thanks, I replied. He leaned closer. Listen, I don't want to interfere, but that wasn't normal. She said I'm insecure, I said. And you believed her? I love her, I said quietly. He sighed. Love shouldn't make you feel small. That line stayed with me. That evening, Aisha called me. Are you still upset? She asked. No, I lied. I don't like fights, she said. Especially over stupid things. It didn't feel stupid to me, I said. Silence. Are you saying I did something wrong? She asked. I'm saying it hurt, I said. You're hurting me now, she replied. By doubting me. My chest tightened. I'm not doubting you. I just... Then drop it, she said. Okay, I said again. After the call ended, I stared at my reflection in the mirror. Who are you becoming? I asked myself. A week passed. Then another. Ryan's name came up casually in conversations. Ryan said this, she would say. Ryan thinks that. Each time felt like a small cut. One night I asked, how often do you talk to him? She frowned. Why are you counting? I'm not, I said. I'm asking. You're acting strange lately, she said. I miss the old you. I miss him too, I thought but didn't say. Another message from Bilal came. Trust your gut, he wrote. I looked at Aisha's last message to me. Stop being insecure. I put the phone down. That smile in the cafe replayed again. And this time it hurt more. I decided to talk to her properly. No jokes. No apologies. We met in the park near her place. You look serious, she said. I am, I replied. She rolled her eyes. This again? Yes, I said. This again. She sat down. Say it. Why does he feel so comfortable with you? I asked. She laughed softly. Because I'm friendly. Friendly doesn't sound like baby, I said. There you go again, she said. You're obsessed. I'm hurt, I said. She leaned back. You're exhausting lately. That word hit me. I'm trying to protect what we have, I said. She looked away. Maybe that's the problem. What does that mean? I asked. She stood up. It means I need space. From me? I asked. From this version of you, she said. I watched her walk away. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing her voice. You're insecure. You're exhausting. I sat up and whispered, I know something's wrong. My heart knew it before my mind accepted it. The smile wasn't mine. It never was. The next morning I skipped work and went to the cafe again. I sat at the same table. I watched couples laugh. I watched hands touch. I wondered when love turns into confusion. My phone rang. Aisha. Why didn't you reply last night? She asked. I needed time, I said. She scoffed. For what? To think, I replied. About breaking up? She asked. The word made my throat dry. Is that what you want? She paused. I want peace. I want honesty, I said. Then trust me, she replied. I closed my eyes. I'm trying. Trying isn't enough, she said. The call ended. Bilal texted again. Still alive. Barely, I replied. Want to talk? Not yet. I stood up and left the cafe. As I walked, one thought stayed with me. If love makes you doubt yourself, something is already broken. And I knew deep down this was only the beginning. That evening I stood on my balcony and watched the city lights. I trusted you, I said out loud, not sure who I was talking to. My phone buzzed again. Aisha. Are you mad at me? She asked softly. No, I said. I'm tired. Tired of me? She asked. I don't know, I answered honestly. She sighed. You're changing. Maybe I have to, I said. She didn't reply. I went inside and sat on my bed. I opened our old messages. Jokes. Promises. Hearts. I whispered, when did we lose this? The silence answered. And my gut screamed louder than ever. I lay down and stared at the ceiling until my eyes burned. I kept asking myself one question. Why didn't she stop him? No answer felt good enough. I remembered Bilal's voice. Love shouldn't make you feel small. I felt very small. I turned off the lights and closed my eyes. Tomorrow, I told myself, I'll pretend everything is fine. But deep inside, I knew nothing ever would be. The night stretched longer than usual. Every sound felt louder. Every memory felt heavier. I checked my phone one last time. No new messages. I whispered, I saw the smile. And I finally admitted the truth to myself. It wasn't insecurity. It was instinct. And it was right. I turned to my side and pulled the pillow closer. My chest hurt, but I didn't cry. Not yet. I told myself this pain had a reason. I didn't know what was coming. I only knew something had already changed. I closed my eyes and breathed slowly. Tomorrow would come. And with it, answers. Whether I liked them or not. I whispered one last thing before sleep took me. Please don't let me be right. But I already knew I was. The silence felt heavy. Too heavy. And that scared me more than anything else. I stared into the dark and waited for morning. My heart kept beating like it knew a storm was coming. And I couldn't stop it. Not anymore. I understood then that love does not break loudly. It breaks quietly, through smiles that do not belong to you, words that cross lines, and silence that grows between questions. I had ignored the signs because I wanted comfort, not truth. That night, before sleep finally claimed me, I promised myself one thing. I would not ignore my instincts again, no matter how painful the truth became. Even if it meant losing the person I thought was my forever and facing the darkness alone for a while. I had started noticing the cracks long before I admitted them to myself. It wasn't the big moment in the cafe, Ryan calling her baby, that destroyed me overnight. No, it was the tiny, almost invisible shifts afterward. The missed calls, the half-hearted replies, the way she sometimes froze when my eyes met hers. I told myself I was overthinking, that love required trust, that I should relax. But nights alone became minefields of doubt. Aisha, who was that on the phone? I asked one evening while she scrolled her phone across the couch. My voice was calm, casual. I tried to keep it light. She didn't even look up. What? Oh, just Sarah. What? Are you acting jealous again? I hesitated. I'm not. You are jealous. You worry about everything. Honestly, you're paranoid sometimes. Her tone had that effortless brush-off quality that always made me shrink inside. Do you think I'm out to hurt you? No, it's just, I trailed off. My gut twisted. She had that way of turning the blame around so quickly that I questioned my own judgment. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Never mind. Bilal, my best friend, always noticed things I pretended not to. That night, I told him over our usual late-night chai. Something's off, Bilal. I feel like I'm losing her without even knowing how. Bilal frowned, hands gripping his mug. I'm just saying, man, watch closely. You're too blind when you're in love. Don't let her play with your mind. I'm not blind, I muttered, but my voice lacked conviction. I see. I don't want to lose her. I trust her. Bilal shook his head slowly like I was already halfway gone. Trust, sure. But don't be stupid. Don't let this gaslight you into believing your own lies. I laughed weakly. I'm not crazy. Not yet, he said with a half-smile, half-warned glare. The nights grew heavier. I would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, imagining what she was doing, who she was texting. I tried to fight the thoughts, tried to tell myself I was imagining everything. But every time her phone buzzed, my heart sank. Why do you keep staring at my phone? She asked one night, catching me mid-glance. I wasn't, I lied. But she didn't buy it. You always act like I'm hiding something, she said, her voice soft but sharp. Do you want me to stop loving you because you can't trust me? I felt a pang of guilt. I always wanted to trust her. I nodded mutely and she kissed my forehead, that charming smile masking everything beneath. But it wasn't enough. Then came the day I accidentally saw it. I didn't mean to, I never peeked. She left her phone on the table while answering the doorbell. The screen lit up and I froze. Ryan. His name popped up multiple times in the notifications. Messages, call logs, repeated. Nothing explicit, but it was enough to pierce me. I sat there for a long time, my chest tight, hands trembling. Aisha returned, smiling. You look tired. Everything okay? Yeah, I said, forcing calm. Just thinking. Thinking about me? She teased lightly. I flinched. I couldn't let her see. Not yet. I had to process it first to figure out if I was losing my mind. When I finally confronted her, I kept my voice steady but my hands shook. Aisha. I saw Ryan's name on your phone. She froze, then melted into dramatic hurt. You don't trust me? After everything? I can't believe you doubt me. Her voice cracked, eyes glistening. She collapsed on the couch beside me, hands gripping mine. I thought you loved me. I thought you believed me. I wanted to shout, to demand the truth, to scream at her. But I couldn't. I saw the tears and something inside me, love, loyalty, stupidity, made me apologize. I'm sorry. I worry, I muttered. My chest felt crushed, every breath heavy. You're hurting me, you know? Making me feel guilty for nothing. She squeezed my hands, looking like a victim. Why can't you just trust me? I nodded, the words stuck in my throat. I wanted to believe her. I needed to. I trust you, I whispered, but my gut twisted with unease. Days became a blur of confusion. Every laugh she shared with someone else, every glance at her phone, sent small needles into my heart. Bilal's warnings echoed in my mind. Don't let her gaslight you. I'm not being gaslight, I told myself. I'm overthinking. I'm imagining things. She loves me. But the seed of doubt was already planted, and it grew quietly, invisibly. Then there was Sarah, her friend. She seemed neutral at first, always hovering nearby, polite. But I noticed her reactions, subtle smiles when Aisha mentioned Ryan, eyes lingering just a little too long. I didn't confront her, not yet. I didn't want to see the truth in full. Why do you always look so serious? Aisha asked one evening as we walked past a small park. You never relax anymore. I'm just tired, I replied. I can't sleep well. She laughed softly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. You worry too much. I swear if you keep living in your head, you'll drive yourself crazy. I forced a smile, hiding the ache inside. Maybe I just care too much. Care too much? She echoed, playful but sharp. Don't confuse love with obsession. I flinched but stayed quiet. The nights were the hardest. I would lie awake, replaying her words, her smiles, her laughs. Every moment with her became suspect. Every touch, every glance, every whispered joke seemed to carry hidden meanings. My mind became a maze of suspicion and guilt. Bilal tried again one late night over calls. Look man, you need to open your eyes. This isn't love, it's manipulation. I love her, I said firmly, though my voice faltered. I can't just give up. Love doesn't hurt this much, he said quietly. Not if you're with the right person. I hung up, staring at the ceiling. He was right. Every night I felt smaller, weaker, trapped in a storm I didn't know how to escape. Then the messages started coming again. Ryan. I saw a few more accidentally, just glimpses, flirty, familiar, casual. Nothing explicit again, but the pattern was clear. Each sighting made my heart sink a little more. One night, I confronted her again, my voice trembling but louder this time. Aisha. I can't ignore it. Ryan, why is he texting you? Why are you talking to him like that? She looked at me with wide eyes, exaggerated hurt. Oh my God. You're accusing me now? You're insane. I can't believe you think I'd cheat on you. She got closer, voice dropping into a softer, manipulative tone. Do you realize how insecure you sound? I can't deal with this right now. I need space. I felt the sting of her words, the guilt twisting inside me. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to trust her. But something in my gut screamed differently. I just want to understand, I whispered. You think you understand? She spat, tears now rolling freely. But you're just paranoid. I've never hurt you. And there it was, the gaslight, turning my fear into my fault, making me apologize for the pain she caused. I'm sorry, I said again, voice cracking. My chest felt hollow, my thoughts tangled. I didn't mean to doubt you. She smiled, just enough to seem sincere. Thank you. I love you, you know? I hope you can start trusting me again. I nodded, swallowing the lump, forcing myself to believe. But the seed was planted. The slow poison of doubt and betrayal had begun to take hold. And I knew, even if I didn't admit it to myself yet, that this was only the beginning. Every day after that became a careful navigation of her moods, her words, and my own fractured trust. Every conversation, every laugh, every touch became a test, whether I would crumble completely or somehow survive. Why do you keep looking at me like that? She asked one night, noticing my silent gaze. Looking at you? I said, voice neutral though my heart thudded. Yes, she replied, tilting her head. Like you're waiting for me to slip, like you're expecting me to betray you. I swallowed hard. Maybe I am, I admitted softly. Maybe I'm scared I already have been. Her laugh was soft, condescending, like a melody that cut through me. You really need to stop thinking so much, or you'll drive yourself crazy. And maybe I already was. I woke up that day with a strange heaviness in my chest, like my body already knew what my mind was still refusing to accept. My phone was silent. No good morning message. No random emoji. I stared at the screen and whispered, "It's fine. You're overthinking." I said it so many times it stopped sounding real. At work, my hands shook while typing. Usman noticed first. "You look sick," he said, leaning against my desk. "Did you sleep at all?" "I slept," I replied. "Just didn't rest." He nodded slowly, like he understood more than I said. "Don't ignore that feeling. It usually means something's wrong." I forced a smile. "It'll pass." It didn't. That evening, I decided to surprise Aisha. No calls. No texts. I told myself I'd prove my doubts wrong. I reached the street near her place and slowed my steps when I saw them. Aisha and Ryan. Together. Her hand was in his. Not pulled away. Not awkward. Interlocked. I stopped breathing. My legs refused to move. My ears rang so loud I couldn't hear the traffic. I stood there, invisible, watching my girlfriend laugh while another man leaned close. The same smile. The same warmth. The same one that used to belong to me. I stepped forward without thinking. "Aisha." She turned. Her smile faded, but she didn't let go of his hand. Ryan smirked. "Oh, you." My voice shook. "What is this?" She sighed like I was an inconvenience. "I didn't want you to find out like this." "Find out what?" I asked. "Say it." She looked at him, then back at me. "I've moved on." The words punched the air out of my lungs. "Moved on? While we were still together?" She shrugged. "Things change." I laughed, a broken sound. "So that's it? No explanation?" "There's nothing to explain," she said flatly. "I found someone better." "Better?" Ryan tightened his grip on her hand. "You should respect her choice." I looked at him. "You knew." He smiled wider. "Of course I did." My hands curled into fists. "And you still did this." He leaned closer. "You were weak." "I wasn't." "Aisha," I said, my voice cracking. "Look at me." She didn't. "I don't want to fight." "I'm not fighting," I said. "I'm begging you to be honest." She finally met my eyes and there was nothing there. "I don't love you anymore." That was it. No apology. No regret. I stepped back. "So all those nights, all those promises, were lies?" She looked away. "I meant them then." "And now?" I asked. "Now I'm choosing me," she said. I nodded slowly. "I hope he calls you baby forever." Ryan laughed under his breath. I turned and walked away. No shouting. No drama. Just silence. Every step felt heavier than the last. People passed me, laughing, talking, living. I felt detached from all of it. By the time I reached home, my body gave up. I sat on the floor, back against the wall, staring at nothing. Usman called. "Why didn't you show up today?" he asked. "I couldn't," I said. "What happened?" "She replaced me," I whispered. Silence. Then he said, "I'm coming over." I didn't argue. He sat beside me without asking questions. After a long while, he said, "You don't have to say anything." "I wasn't enough," I muttered. "That's not true," he said firmly. "She chose him. That says more about her than you." I stared at the ceiling. "I don't feel anything." "That's shock," he replied. "Pain comes later." He was right. That night after he left, the pain arrived quietly. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just lay there feeling hollow. I replayed every moment. Every warning I ignored. Every apology I gave. "I died today," I whispered. And nobody noticed. My phone buzzed once. "Aisha. I hope you understand," her message said. I deleted it. I turned my face to the wall and closed my eyes. The man I was didn't exist anymore. And in that silence, I knew there was no going back. I stopped looking for her. I stopped checking her socials, stopped glancing at my phone every 5 minutes, hoping for a notification that would never come. Usman's words kept echoing in my mind. "You want power back? Stop feeding them your attention. Stop begging for scraps." I didn't understand it fully at first, but slowly, like a seed sprouting in a dry field, it began to make sense. Pain could be fuel, not a cage. "Nita, can you handle this project alone?" I asked one morning, leaning over her desk. Of course, she said calmly, eyes sharp but gentle. What? Are you busy? I smiled faintly. Busy building myself. Her eyebrow raised. Sounds dramatic. Maybe, I admitted. But sometimes drama is necessary. Usman had been right. My routine changed completely. I started running at dawn, sweating out the memories that clung to me. I started reading again, forcing my mind to think about ideas, strategies, growth, not heartbreak. Each day I pushed myself a little harder, refusing to let the emptiness win. One afternoon, Usman leaned against the doorway of my office. You're actually doing it, he said. I paused, surprised. Doing what? Living without needing her. That's what most people never learn. They beg, they plead, they crumble. You're still standing. Quietly. But you're standing. I'm not sure if I'm standing or just pretending, I said honestly. He shrugged. Pretending works until it isn't pretending anymore. Keep going. Pain isn't weakness. It's the map. Meanwhile, rumors began to reach me through the grapevine. Ryan wasn't the perfect man Aisha had made him out to be. Controlling, jealous, paranoid. The very behaviors she had accused me of? He embodied them fully. I heard Ryan yelled at her yesterday because she laughed at someone else's joke, Bilal said over our late-night call. And? I asked, trying to sound indifferent. And? He's insecure, man. She's not having any trouble at all keeping him under control. I smiled quietly, though I didn't show it. Interesting, I thought. She chose the wrong type of cage. Aisha's online presence changed too. Her posts, once subtle or vague, now screamed fake happiness. Smiles that didn't reach her eyes, captions about living my best life, and new beginnings that felt hollow. I scrolled past them without emotion, only noticing the gaps between the pixels, what was missing, and feeling a flicker of satisfaction. One night, a message appeared on my phone. From her. My heart didn't skip. My stomach didn't twist. I just stared. Hey, sent to you by mistake. I read it twice, expecting a trap. My fingers hovered over the reply button. Then I closed the app without sending anything. Silence was louder than any words I could offer. For the first time I felt power, not rage, not despair, not longing, but control. Nita noticed the shift too. You've changed, she said one afternoon as we reviewed project files together. I looked at her, surprised. How do you mean? You're steady, focused. You don't let things bother you. It's rare. I smiled faintly. Maybe I just learned the right way to use pain. Her eyes softened. Or maybe you just learned to stop giving people power over you. I nodded. Yeah, that too. Work became my battlefield. Every task, every meeting, every interaction with colleagues was a chance to sharpen myself, rebuild my mind and body. Usman's tough love echoed daily. Stop looking for closure. It doesn't come from them. It comes from you. I began to notice subtle changes in me. I laughed more genuinely without trying to impress anyone. I spoke confidently, my words measured but firm. My body felt lighter because my mind wasn't weighed down with desperation. I wasn't perfect, but I was free. Bilal checked in, curious as ever. Still not thinking about her? Hardly, I said. I hear things. I see things. But it doesn't matter. I'm not living in their world anymore. That's new, he said, incredulous. Yeah, I admitted. Feels good. The hardest moments were when memories crept in. The way her hand felt in mine, the way her laughter used to sound, the comfort of her presence. I let the memories visit without letting them stay. I let them float past like clouds, acknowledging them but refusing to be trapped under their shade. Then came a day when Usman pulled me aside after work. You've been different lately. People notice. You're intimidating now. Not because you want to be, but because you don't need approval. I guess that's a good thing, I said, half smiling. It's better than good, he said, patting my shoulder. It's survival. You've taken the pain and turned it into armor. Most people would crumble. You're starting to thrive. I felt a warmth in my chest, not from love, not from pride, but from a quiet satisfaction. I was becoming my own person again. One afternoon, Nita and I were working on a presentation when she asked, "Do you ever think about him? Ryan, I mean." I paused, surprised she mentioned him. Sometimes, I said carefully. Not much. Just observing. People reveal themselves over time. She nodded. And she's learning her choices, I said simply. I didn't need to explain more. Observation was enough. Karma had its way and I had stopped forcing it. Nita smiled faintly, a calm, knowing expression. You've really changed. It's impressive. Thanks, I said. It's necessary. Evenings were different now. I didn't lie awake thinking about her. I read, I ran, I cooked. I built small routines that reminded me I was alive for myself, not for anyone else. Occasionally, I heard through Bilal or other friends that Aisha was struggling under Ryan's weight. His jealousy, his need for control. My chest tightened briefly, but not with longing or sadness. Just observation, detached but knowing that the world balanced itself in strange ways. Weeks passed. Then came another message. Same words, same sender. Hey, sorry, wrong number. I smiled, a slow, private smile. Wrong number. She didn't matter anymore. Not to me. Not in this life I was building. Silence had become my weapon, patience my shield. You're not replying? Nita asked later that week, noticing me quietly ignoring the phone. No, I said. I don't need to. She nodded approvingly. Good. Sometimes the best revenge isn't shouting or proving them wrong. It's just letting them realize what they lost silently. I looked at her, surprised. You understand that? Experience, she said simply. And emotional maturity. I laughed softly. Then I'm in good company. The days that followed were calmer, steadier. Each morning I woke up with a plan. Each night I fell asleep knowing I had not wasted my energy on someone unworthy. Pain had become fuel, focus had become power, and patience had become my silent ally. One day I caught a glimpse of Ryan through a window at the office next door. His expression was tight, controlling. Aisha laughed at something he said, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. I didn't feel satisfaction, just quiet acknowledgement. The wrong cage, I thought. She chose it willingly. Bilal nudged me later. See that? He said. Yeah, I said. I see it. Does it feel good? He asked. No, I said honestly. Not really. I feel free. That's enough. Nita noticed the change too. Her calm presence reminded me that emotional strength wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, steady, and unshakable. I began to seek her counsel more often, not for love, but for guidance. You're doing more than surviving, she said one afternoon as we finished a report. You're thriving. I looked at her, smiling faintly. I'm learning. Slowly. But yes, thriving is a good word. Even Usman noticed the difference. The old you would have begged for scraps, he said one morning. The new you builds kingdoms. I laughed softly. Kingdoms are overrated. I'm happy building a life I control. At night, I lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, and I no longer felt hollow. The man I had been, the one crushed, desperate, pleading, was gone. In his place stood someone quiet, observant, patient. Someone who had let go, not out of weakness, but out of strength. The messages, the posts, the rumors, they all reached me, but they no longer hurt. They were echoes of a past I had survived. I had let go, I had reclaimed my life, and I had realized something profound. Revenge didn't need noise and closure didn't require her words. Silence and patience were far more powerful. And for the first time in months I smiled, truly smiled, not at her, not at Ryan, but at myself. I had lost nothing that mattered. I first heard about the cracks in their world through whispers and casual mentions. Bilal called one evening, voice low and excited. Man, you wouldn't believe it. Ryan snapped at her in front of everyone yesterday. People are talking. I didn't respond immediately. Really? My voice stayed calm, almost neutral. Yeah. He yelled over something stupid. She tried to laugh it off and he went off. It was messy. I leaned back in my chair, sipping my coffee. I see. See? Dude, it's karma. I let him speak, but I didn't join in. That wasn't my style anymore. I didn't need to rejoice in their downfall. Observation alone was enough. The next few days brought more news. Aisha losing friends, Sarah quietly distancing herself. People who once smiled around her now gave polite nods and quick exits. Social media posts showed fragments of happiness, but the comments betrayed the tension. She was isolated, and the perfect image she had worked to create was crumbling. I noticed I felt nothing. No glee, no satisfaction. Just clarity. One night, Bilal whispered over the phone. She was crying earlier. Over you. Can you believe it? I didn't laugh. I didn't move. Crying? Yeah. She was talking about mistakes, saying she never realized until it was too late. I let the words sink. And Ryan? Standing there. He looked scared. Not confident. Not like before. I exhaled slowly, quiet. Interesting, I thought. The roles are reversing. A week later, I got a message from her. Can we meet? I need to say something. I read it twice, then left the phone untouched. I didn't respond immediately. Not because I didn't care, but because I wasn't caught in the past anymore. Patience had become my ally. Finally, I agreed to meet her. We chose a cafe, neutral ground. I arrived first, calm, collected, carrying the quiet strength I had rebuilt over months. She came in, hesitant, eyes red from crying, hair messy from restless days. She froze when she saw me, and I didn't smile. I didn't rush forward. I simply nodded, acknowledging her presence. I'm sorry, she said immediately, voice shaky. I made a mistake. I didn't realize what I had until? I prompted, my tone neutral, detached. Until I lost you. Until I saw what I did. Her words stumbled over themselves, emotion choking them. I was wrong. About everything. I listened quietly, letting her spill her guilt. Every word sounded hollow, but I didn't interrupt. My mind was calm, my heart steady. I wasn't here for reconciliation. I wasn't here for revenge. I was here to witness clarity. And him? I asked softly, nodding toward the corner where Ryan was supposedly watching from a distance. She flinched. I don't know. He's changed. I thought he was perfect, but her voice broke and she buried her face in her hands. I nodded again. Silence stretched between us. I could feel the shift. She was exposed, vulnerable, and the man who had once controlled my peace now looked unsure. Fear replaced arrogance. I just wanted to see you, she whispered finally. To apologize in person. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I tilted my head slightly, studying her. I see. Her eyes pleaded. Please, can we talk? Can we fix anything? I shook my head slowly. There's nothing to fix. Her lips trembled. But, no, I said, calm and firm. I'm not here to beg. I'm not here to forgive, not like you imagine. I'm here to watch you realize what you lost. She looked down, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. I didn't reach for her hand. I didn't offer comfort. That part of me, the desperate part, was gone. Ryan shifted slightly in the distance, his jaw tight, eyes darting nervously. I caught a glimpse of fear in him, a reflection of the chaos he had caused in my life. And I realized then, patience, distance, and silence had done more than anger ever could. Karma didn't need shouting. It knocked softly and I had let it. Aisha wiped her tears, trying to steady herself. I don't know what else to say. You don't need to, I said slowly. My voice was quiet but deliberate. I hope he calls you baby forever. She froze, confusion and pain flashing in her eyes. Her lips parted as if to protest, to beg, to cry, to plead, but nothing came out. My words didn't scream, they didn't attack. They cut deeper than any slap, any insult, because they came from the calm and clarity I had earned. Ryan shifted again, tense, aware of the distance now between him and control. He wasn't the trophy anymore. Not for her. Not for anyone. I stood, gathered my bag and looked at them one last time. Take care, I said. She swallowed, words failing. Her eyes followed me as I walked away, a mix of regret and helplessness in her gaze. I felt nothing but clarity. Outside, I breathed in the cool evening air, letting it fill me. I felt light, unburdened. The man who had begged, questioned, and feared was gone. What remained was calm, observant, and quietly powerful. Bilal called later that night. How'd it go? I smiled faintly. I let them see everything without showing my pain. That's power, Bilal. Patience is stronger than any shout. He laughed softly. Damn right. You've changed completely. She doesn't know what hit her. I didn't hit her, I corrected. Karma did. I just let it happen. Silence followed for a moment, then he said, I'm proud of you, man. Really? I nodded silently, feeling the truth in that. Pride wasn't loud. It didn't need validation. It was quiet, internal, and unshakable. The days that followed were calm, almost mundane. I continued my routine, my work, my rebuilding. But now, every once in a while, news drifted my way, snippets of their struggles, minor conflicts, fleeting regrets. I didn't gloat. I didn't indulge. Observation was enough. Every time I heard about her sadness or Ryan's insecurity, I felt the subtle satisfaction of life balancing itself. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I no longer needed to fight to be right. Nita noticed my demeanor one afternoon. You're unshakable, she said. Not in arrogance, but in something deeper. You've evolved. I smiled faintly. I had to. Pain forced me to. And did it hurt? She asked, eyes calm, understanding. Of course, I admitted. But it also taught me. taught me patience, silence, and how to let go without losing myself. Her expression softened. Then you're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. I nodded, letting her words settle. Thriving wasn't about winning over anyone. It wasn't about revenge or rage. It was about quiet power, emotional control, and clarity. Weeks later, I walked past the cafe where I had seen them last. Aisha's eyes met mine briefly through the window. I smiled faintly, a private acknowledgement. No anger. No longing. Just observation. Her regret was visible, and so was Ryan's insecurity. But it didn't matter. I had moved beyond needing their approval or acknowledging their presence in my emotional life. The message she had sent weeks ago remained unread. I had resisted the temptation, and in that resistance I found freedom. Silence had done what anger could not. Calm had done what shouting could not. Patience had done what revenge could not. I realized then that I had grown stronger, not through confrontation, but through detachment and clarity. The man who had been shattered was gone. What remained was steady, observant, and quietly powerful. And in that realization I finally felt whole. I didn't expect her to reach out again. After months of silence, after witnessing their cracks and watching patience do its work, I thought it was over. But the message came, simple, almost desperate. Can we talk? I lost someone real. I realized too late. I stared at it for a long time. My fingers hovered over the reply button, but I didn't touch it. I had learned something important. Closure doesn't come from revisiting the past. It comes from refusing to return to it. Bilal called later that evening. She reached out? Yeah, I said calmly. I'm not replying. Not even a little? He asked, incredulous. Not even a little, I said firmly. I'm not going to let old mistakes dictate my peace. He laughed softly. Good. You've really changed. I leaned back in my chair, eyes closed, letting the quiet calm fill me. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was free. The next day at work, Nita noticed my serene demeanor. You look untouchable, she said gently. Untouchable? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Yes, she said. Like nothing can shake you, and you don't even try to impress anyone. You just are. I smiled faintly. Maybe that's the goal. She nodded knowingly. It suits you. Months had passed since I last saw Aisha in person. Ryan's presence had faded from relevance. His insecurities consuming him quietly, visible only to those paying attention. I didn't need to observe him actively. The world had a way of showing his cracks without my interference. One evening as I left the office, Bilal nudged me. You ever think about her? Sometimes, I admitted. Not much. Just understanding the lessons she left behind. Lessons? He asked, curious. Yeah, I said, walking with steady steps. About trust, patience, and the value of my own peace. About knowing when to walk away without destroying myself. Bilal nodded. Sounds like you've really grown. I have, I said quietly. And I'm not done yet. Nita joined me a few days later on a project meeting. Her presence was calm, collected, a silent reminder of what healthy relationships could feel like. Not rushed, not desperate. I admired her composure. It wasn't attraction in the way I had felt with Aisha. It was respect for both her and myself. You've changed, she said one afternoon, glancing at me across our desks. Completely. I nodded. I had to. Pain was a harsh teacher. She smiled faintly. And did it teach you well? Yes, I said honestly. It taught me to value myself, to be patient, and to understand that some people aren't worth my energy. She nodded, satisfied with the answer. Good. That kind of clarity is rare. Meanwhile, Aisha's attempts to reach me continued subtly, messages left unread, occasional glimpses in public spaces, but I maintained the distance I had cultivated. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. My life no longer revolved around someone else's mistakes. My focus was forward, not backward. Bilal chuckled one evening as we walked home. You've really mastered this. Silence, patience, distance. She won't even understand what hit her. I don't need her to understand, I said calmly. I need me to understand. That's enough. Usman's words echoed in my mind from months ago. Pain isn't weakness. It's the map. I had followed that map carefully, step by step, using heartbreak as fuel to rebuild myself. I had turned betrayal into growth, emptiness into strength. One day, while organizing files at work, I noticed a familiar name pop up in an email chain, Aisha. She had sent a message through a colleague, trying once more to reach me indirectly. I didn't open it. I didn't react. The temptation to check, to respond, to give her a chance to explain, passed without a fight. Silence was my shield, patience my armor. I walked away from the past whole, unshaken. Bilal noticed my calmness and commented, "You've really changed, man. You don't even flinch anymore." "I flinch inside," I admitted. "But it doesn't control me. Not anymore." Nita, working beside me on a new project, smiled quietly. "You're steady. I mean really steady. Even when things try to shake you, you don't react. It's impressive." "Thank you," I said. "It's taken months to reach this, but it's worth it. I'm not the same person who would have begged or cried. I've learned to walk away without losing myself." And I had. Evenings were no longer haunted by memories. I didn't lie awake replaying old conversations, wondering where I went wrong. My thoughts were mine again, uncluttered by regret or longing. I ran, read, cooked, and worked, building a life I controlled, a life I owned. Occasionally, I saw her posts online, fragments of fake happiness, glimpses of regret. I didn't smile and I didn't scoff. I observed silently, understanding that her choices had consequences, but those consequences were no longer my concern. Bilal, ever the messenger of gossip, once mentioned, "She said she misses you, you know. Tried to find you at that cafe." I raised an eyebrow. And nothing. She didn't get what she wanted. "You didn't respond." I nodded. "Exactly. I didn't need to. That's power. That's closure." Nita noticed the change in me, not just in demeanor but in approach to life. "You're not chasing anyone," she said. "You're living for yourself. That's rare." "It feels rare because it is," I admitted. "Most people give pieces of themselves away too freely. I've learned not to." Weeks passed. The office, the city, the routines, they all became a canvas for my growth. My mind was clear, my emotions controlled, my path forward unobstructed. One afternoon, Bilal nudged me during a coffee break. "You're different. Completely unshakable. I've never seen you like this." "I had to be," I said quietly. "The past had tried to control me. But I chose myself instead." He nodded, understanding without asking further. Some things didn't need words. Evenings with Nita became moments of calm observation and learning. She wasn't a replacement for Aisha. She was a symbol of a healthy future, a reminder that emotional maturity and patience mattered more than rush or desperation. "You're stronger than most people I know," she said once as we discussed a project deadline. "I've had to be," I said simply. "Betrayal, mistakes, loss, they forced me to evolve." "And you have," she replied softly. "Completely." Ryan and Aisha faded into the background of my life. They were lessons, not destinations. Observing from afar was enough to acknowledge the consequences of their choices. I didn't need to engage, argue, or gloat. The world had a way of balancing itself and I had stopped meddling in its work. I realized then fully that the man who had once been desperate, anxious, and broken no longer existed. The man I had become was steady, observant, patient, and self-aware. I no longer feared being replaced because I had chosen myself first. Bilal, walking beside me one evening, finally said, "I've never seen anyone handle betrayal like you. You didn't retaliate. You didn't chase. You just walked away whole." I smiled faintly. That's all I ever wanted. To walk away without losing myself. And I had. I no longer needed her apologies. I no longer needed their approval. I no longer needed revenge. My life was mine and I carried it forward with quiet strength. The city moved around me, full of people chasing dreams, love, and validation. I moved through it with purpose, clarity, and self-respect. Every step, every decision, every action reinforced the truth I had discovered. Betrayal didn't destroy me, it rebuilt me. Nita, ever calm and composed, noticed the change and said quietly one afternoon, "You're finally at peace." "Yes," I replied, smiling. "At peace and whole. That's enough." The message from Aisha remained unread. The temptation to open it had passed months ago. Silence had become my victory, patience my triumph, and self-respect my ultimate reward. I realized, standing in my apartment that evening, overlooking the city lights, that the life I had feared losing had never been gone. It was waiting for me to claim it, not through revenge, not through anger, not through desperation, but through patience, clarity, and self-love. And in that realization I smiled fully, quietly, and completely. I had walked away whole. I had chosen myself. I was finally free.